Record. Okay. So everybody understands that this is being recorded. Okay. This is being recorded because this event is a part of a continued education course. And so the continued education course allows for administrators and educators to receive 3 credit hours for participating in a class that is connected with this workshop series. Now, the workshop series is called Trauma Informed Education, and it consists of the event today, which is called Thankful Thursday, all right, because we are so thankful to be here and we are thankful for our health. It also consists of, on Monday, an event that is a panel event that is called Emotional Intelligence and Trauma and Social Sciences. And that event will consist of social workers, educators, and folks in something. Anyway, they're going to talk to us about emotional intelligence and in social sciences. So what's very important for us to understand about that is that when we're engaging people on a regular basis, no matter what our field of study is, we sometimes experience stress. And then also those groups of people experience stress. So in the social science fields, we're going to have representatives, and there is a flyer. I will post the flyer to this event as a Google Doc link as we navigate through our activity today. And so then you'll have this document. The other event is a criminal justice and managing trauma event. And this is an applied event. So this is more like applied professions. And so we're going to have an interdisciplinary group that deal with people who are involved in criminal behavior or advocacy, juvenile delinquency, support, and things like that. And so this particular panel is going to focus on that end with stress and trauma as an employee, as well as dealing with our community and communities, a variety of type of communities. And then our kickoff event, our last event, our major event is the training, the diversity and equity training. And so this training is going to be so amazing. It is from 5 o'clock to 8:30 on next Thursday, but the speakers will blow you away. They are engaging, they are amazing, and you will learn so much from this training. Every time I communicate with any of the speakers, I'm always in awe of their knowledge and their energy. So your eyes will be wide awake no matter what you have to do on next Thursday. So make sure that you register. This is free. And also, if you have organizations that you're a part of, this is going to be recorded as well. So, you can take the recording afterward and you can share this with your organizations, this information and this experience. And I will be happy, as always, to come in and say a word or whatever, and to engage your groups in any way that that you need me to talk to them about the events or anything like that. So with that being said, it is now time for Wendy. So I want you all to please understand that it is perfectly okay for you to get out of your chair and to get onto the floor or to get anywhere where your body is going to feel comfortable and relaxed, because Wendy is going to help us to calm down and to take our minds in a space that is going to be so healthy and amazing for us. Wendy put together Thankful Thursday as a mindfulness meditation activity. But the point here is that we look at greatness in ourselves, and that we also think about words and descriptions and gratitude so that we can become more powerful, so that we can deal with the challenges that we have to manage on a regular basis. And we all know that those challenges can be mental, they can be emotional, they can be physical, they can be spiritual, they can involve people at work, at home, and even people that we don't know. And so we are here today to get that energy, and Wendy's going to share that with us. She's going to fill our cups. So I'm ready. Okay.
Okay, let's do this. All right.
This spotlight, and it is all yours, Wendy.
Thank you. Thank you. I am really honored to kick off this trauma-informed education series, and so grateful to you, Quita, for these opportunities to share in transferring knowledge and transferring healing and giving opportunities for us to connect, not only with one another, but also with ourselves. And that's really what tonight is all about, is nourishing ourselves. And that's the source that we pull from in order to more impactfully, effectively nourish other people, to nourish the changes that we want to make, to fight. It's not all just, gentle. Sometimes we go to battle and we want to be ready for that. And so today with the Thankful Thursday program, first of all, I would like to invite you, if you don't already have it, to gather some paper, a notebook, a pen, a pencil, or if you're right there at your computer and you're the note-taking type, you can feel free to participate in the reflection activities that way. I also, like Quita said, recommend comfort. So be comfortable in your seat. If you want to go to another room where you're comfortable, if you want to lay in your bed, if you want to light a candle or get yourself a nice soothing beverage, take care of yourselves. And when you have to get up and you have to remove yourself for whatever reason, do that. Most cameras are off. We wouldn't know anyway, but I do hope you stick around in return. And I do actually appreciate, seeing at least one or two participants. So those of you with your camera on, thank you for that. I do also understand sometimes we do not want to be on camera, and maybe we've been in front of a screen all day. And so it can be nice to just sort of look in another direction. And I get that. So after you have a moment to gather your things and get really comfortable, I want to start by just naming that trauma is something that everyone experiences at some point. And many of us have been on a journey to either learn trauma-informed care in our work or to heal trauma that we have experienced in our own lives and backgrounds and or currently, and also to help other people on their journeys in working with the impacts that trauma can have. So trauma is basically defined as any type of overwhelming event that we don't know how to deal with because it is so overwhelming. It can be something that occurs in early childhood. It could be something that occurs at any point in the lifespan. And what it does is it tends to fuel disconnection from our bodies. It can reroute, our brain chemistry depending upon whether or not we have appropriate care following a traumatic event. The disconnection, though, is what I really kind of want to focus on, because in order to heal, in order to move forward, we really do need to befriend our nervous systems and get back in our bodies. A lot of types of trauma can lead us to leave our bodies, can lead us to start to have a different kind of a relationship where we're not comfortable in our own skin, where we might not be comfortable in our own families or in our own communities. And we also know that some of the collective ways that trauma is experienced leave us disconnected from feeling like we're a part of society, like we're a legitimate, worthy human being. And that is one thing that without a doubt we are all born as, is legitimate and worthy human beings. So tonight we're going to reconnect with that. And I want to say that healing trauma can come from sharing our stories with the right people, from others investing in us and building our resilience. And it can also come from simple practices to drop down from the stories, from the meaning that we might make, from the anxiety, the depressions that could come, the fears and the worry into our body, and recognizing that there are ways that we can promote our own safety, that we can remind ourselves and send signals to our brain that we are, in fact, in a safe place, in a safe moment, and just sort of learn how to reset in our own unique way. Everybody's going to have their own formula, right? So let's see here. We're going to focus on reconnecting to our bodies tonight. We're really going to tap into our worth. Radically learning to love and care for ourselves so that we can return to the wholeness and truly more dynamically be able to then make the change that we all want to make together in improving our lives, improving one another's lives in the world. So let's start with connecting to our breath, okay? I want everybody to just take a moment in your seat, wherever you are, if you're laying down or you're sitting down. I want you to recognize that we have this tool that we take with us wherever we go, and it is something that is always accessible. And I know sometimes we can get all up in our heads if we're upset about something and someone says, just take a deep breath, just calm down. I mean, it can really be a trigger for some people. But the breath, when we deepen and lengthen it, is the tool that sends the quickest signal to our brains that we are, in fact, in a safe place. So even if we're finding ourselves riddled with anxiety or fear or overwhelm, we know we're in a mental health crisis, you know, right now, living through a pandemic, having all this stress and strain and change. So connecting to our breath is our anchor. It's like the calm in the storm. So through your nose or through your mouth, start with just a slow, deep inhalation. And then follow that up with release. And notice your breath coming all the way through into your lungs. And maybe even down into your diaphragm. And if you want to really pay attention to that diaphragm, you can imagine that there's like a balloon or beach ball inside your belly. And when you take that deepest breath and you have your hands down there, you can exaggerate that motion. Inhaling deeply into that diaphragm and exhaling all the air out. Sending that signal to our minds and our bodies that we are, in fact, in a safe place here together, paying close attention to the tools that we have at hand to calm down our nervous system. And this is accessible to us throughout the program tonight, and obviously anywhere we go. So I wanted to start with that connection, and then I'd like to share a little bit about someone else's viewpoint on mindfulness and why it's important. So Mirabai Bush is an author and contemplative practices teacher, and writes that mindfulness allows us to see things as they are, which of course is what we need to do before we can think about making changes in ourselves and in our environment or culture. We need to let go of judgment, meaning prejudgment, not letting go of wise discernment, but letting go of the prejudgments we bring to situations, which is something that has a lot to do with racism and justice, that has a lot to do with trauma. And mindfulness helps us listen more deeply, clearly, so we can really hear what someone else is saying, instead of with prejudgment, assuming we know ahead of time. It cultivates humility, because as you watch your own mind, she says, I don't see any other response besides humor and humility. I mean, when we witness our mind racing all over the place and the kinds of things we come up with, which need care and attention. And then she goes on to say that the last is impermanence. Mindfulness really leads us to recognize, as we watch our minds and watch the sensations in our body, we see how everything is impermanence. Everything's always changing, right? So that's one thing that I really love to remind students and myself is that anytime that we get overwhelmed, anytime that we have suffering on board, that we are challenged, whether it's a trauma we're experiencing currently or something that we're trying to heal from that gets triggered through interactions or experiences with others, that those feelings that rise up in us are temporary. And even in the darkest nights of suffering, there is a dawn that comes next. And many of us have had that experience, but sometimes when we're caught in the tangles and the throes of those overwhelming feelings, we tell ourselves, this is it. There's nothing beyond this. I'm in the deep and it's hard to find a way out. So mindfulness practices like connecting to our breath and some of the things that we'll do further on in this program today in our reflections help us again to come back to the moment that we're in, to reset, to recognize that, you know, we can soften our judgments, not only of others, but of ourselves. And that softening our judgment opens us up to compassion and to radically love ourselves, which is a pretty radical act. One of the books that I'm really tuning into right now that I highly recommend to everybody is called The Body Is Not an Apology. And this is by Sonia Renee Taylor. And she's amazing and has some pretty amazing TED Talks and other clips that are available on YouTube if you want to become more familiar. But I like to share something that Sonia writes, reflecting that in recently listening to famed author and spiritual teacher Marianne Williamson share a talk on relationships. In it, she described the principle of natural intelligence. She posited an acorn does not have to say, I intend to become an oak tree. Natural intelligence intends that every living thing becomes the highest form of itself and designs us accordingly. She writes that in a single sentence, all in me that felt nameless was named. We have a dictionary full of terms describing our interpretation of natural intelligence. We sometimes call it purpose, other times destiny. Although I agree with the spirit of those terms, I believe they fail to encapsulate the fullness of what Marianne Williamson's acorn example illustrates. Both purpose and destiny allude to a place we might, with enough effort, someday arrive. We belabor ourselves with all the things we must do to fulfill our purpose or live out our destiny. Contrary to purpose, natural intelligence does not require we do anything to achieve it. Natural intelligence imbues us with all that we need in this exact moment to manifest the highest form of ourselves, and we don't have to figure out how to get it. We arrived on this planet with this source material already present. I am by no means implying that the work you may have done up to this point has been useless. To the contrary, I applaud whatever labor you have undertaken that has gotten you this far. Survival is damn hard. Each of us has traversed a gauntlet of traumas, shames, and fears to be where we are today, wherever that is. Each day we wake to a planet full of social, political, and economic obstructions that siphon our energy and diminish our sense of self. Consequently, tapping into this natural intelligence often feels nearly impossible. Humans, unfortunately, make being human exceptionally hard for each other. But I assure you, the work we have done or will do is not about acquiring some way of being we currently lack. The work is to crumble the barriers of injustice and shame leveled against us so that we might access what we have always been, because we will, if unobstructed, inevitably grow into the purpose for which we were created, our own unique version of that oak tree. Whew, she gives me chills. Okay. All right, so right now we are going to just take a couple minutes to really get into our body. So we started with the belly breath. And what I'd like you to do is wherever you're seated or lying down, just sort of follow these directions and really drop into your body. If there's anything that I ask you to do that is not within the realm of your ability, please take care of yourself. Modify. Just sit and breathe or lay down and breathe if that's enough for you, if that's exactly what you need. But if you feel so drawn, I'm going to encourage you to wake your body up a little bit. And so we'll start with just taking our hands and making some small circles. And we're going to start with one direction, and then we're going to move into another direction. And as you are doing these small movements, reconnect with that breath. Deepen and lengthen, and pay attention to the sensations that you're noticing. Now I'd invite you to take your arms and just sort of loosen them up a little bit, maybe make some fluid movements. You can get into rolling your shoulders. And this is a really nice thing to do slowly and with purpose, because most of us on our devices on a regular basis have this tech neck thing going on where our shoulders and our neck get really tight and tense. So you can reverse that. Now rolling your shoulders back, up, and then forward. And keep that breath in mind. And the next thing I invite us to do is to, with a neutral spine, so you want to try to lengthen and have your head sort of positioned in a way that you're not leaning too far forward or back, but just as straight up and down as you can. And we're going to slightly take our chin over toward our left shoulder. And if you want to give that little pressure on your chin to deepen the stretch, we're going to work on these neck muscles for a minute. And then move on back to the other side. I see we have someone in the waiting room. Take a couple breaths there. And come on back to center when you're ready. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just gently look up, raising our chin, trying not to collapse too much in the back of the neck, just focusing on the chin, and then come on down and lower that chin towards the chest, like you're just doing a really slow yes. And remember to keep that breath connected. And come on back to neutral. And then we're going to do a really slow no. So looking over that left shoulder, pause, and then come on back and head over toward the right. And just notice how this is feeling in your body. Notice if you're feeling any tension from the day or from the last year and a half or 25 years. And see if you can release some of it. In this last go, we'll come on back to neutral. And then we're going to take our ear and sort of bring it down a little closer to our shoulder to get a nice stretch in the side of the neck. And if you want to help that along, you could place your hand on top of your head. And take some nice deep breaths, lengthening the side of your neck and feeling that. I feel that in my shoulder too. Got some knots in there. And we're going to come on back to center, and then we're going to go on over to the other side. And take a few breaths and notice any sensations and send your body some love. We're tuning in. And bring it back up to neutral. And now what I invite you to do is placing your hands on your knees. We're going to do sort of a modified, if anybody's familiar with yoga, a cat-cow kind of stretch. So it kind of looks like hands on my knees if I'm seated, or if you want to, you can get on all fours down on the floor. But I'm going to, on an exhale, I'm going to arch my back and lean in, bringing my chin and chest toward my pelvis. On the inhale, I'm going to bring my belly and my chest out, creating that curvature in my spine and looking up. And then we're just going to do a few of these. Exhaling with the arch and inhaling, bringing the belly forward, waking up the spine a little bit. And then we'll come on back to neutral. And from our seated position or lying down or standing up, we're just going to take our core area and just do some slight circles at our hips and start to just bring some movement down into that area of our hips. And you can go in one direction. Continuing to connect with that breath. And then going in the other direction. And the next thing we want to do is just a slight twist. So you could take your left hand to your right knee and lengthen through your spine, inhaling. And using that left hand to just give your body that twist from your lumbar spine all the way up to your cervical spine. Nothing forced, just what feels good in your body. And then we're going to come on back to neutral, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So right hand to left knee, pulling and twisting and breathing and trying to tune into the sensations as we create a little space in our body and work out some of these kinks from sitting, from working all day, or from doing whatever you have done today. And so the next thing that I invite us to do, if this is in your body, is to take one of your legs and just cross your ankle over the opposite knee. And this can provide a nice stretch in the hamstring and through the hip. You want to just sort of with a straight back, lean forward. If you are seated on the ground, you can do a forward bend. You can stand up against the wall and lean back and bend forward. Whatever might help get a little stretching into that back body. But there's a lot we can do from a chair. And all of these ways to connect with our body are accessible throughout the day and can help us just take those little breaks where we're dropping down from our head and our thoughts and our worries and our work and into our bodies, where we're connecting, increasing blood flow, oxygen, sending that signal to our nervous system that we're safe. And investing a little bit in our worth, showing ourselves some love. Okay, and so you can bring yourself back to your seated position. And the next thing I want to encourage everybody to do is just a little bit of self-massage. So if you want to start with your jaw, because a lot of times we can hold tension in our jaw, especially if we're doing a lot of talking in our day-to-day, or if we're not talking and there's things that we're holding back from saying. Doing a little work on our jaw and our throats might be an invitation to find a way to use our voice, to find a way to release things that need to be released. I always recommend that if we are going to open up, that we open up to the right people. The people who have, as Brene Brown puts it, earned the right to hear our stories. And sometimes if we don't necessarily have those people in our lives, that's when a good therapist can come into play. So make your way down to your neck and just sort of bring your fingers down from your hairline and see what kind of sensations that inspires. Notice how your shoulders feel. Do you have tension in those muscles? And can you, through your breath and your gentle self-massage, release some of that tension? And again, this is us showing ourselves love, paying attention to our bodies, reconnecting, which is what is healing. Next, you can work your way up to your temples. Especially useful for the occasional headache. And then maybe just a little massage up your scalp, if that feels good. And I always like to remember to take my thumbs to the ridges at the back of where our skull meets our neck. If you put your thumb in there, you might feel a little like, woo, like there's some tension going on in there. I know I'm pretty regularly a little sore back there because of all the time that I spend on a computer or on my phone. Or sometimes, just moving my body a little too quickly, not being mindful. And then all of a sudden there's a kink reminding us we're aging, or that we just need a little more love, a little more self-love, a little more stretching. Okay, next thing is work on your shoulders and your arms, and just give yourself a little bit more of a massage on your arms. And notice how that feels. Touch is something that the pandemic has certainly gotten in the way of. I mean, I know I'm a hugger and I miss that. I miss, being able to touch other people, and not everybody likes that, and that's fine. I'm not going to force that, but sometimes we can meet our own needs, for touch and for soothing and for nurturing. And we have to remember that because we're the ones with us from start to finish in this life. And if we can really learn how to soothe our own nervous systems, how to connect with our bodies, how to reconnect with our worth, then, we are so powerful. And that's when we can become even more powerful change agents. So the next thing is take a go at your legs. Give yourself just some squeezes and see how that feels. And if you like, even into your lower back. and just see where you're drawn to. If there's any specific areas of tension that could use a little attention. And again, the purpose of this is that we are connecting with ourselves and that we can provide some nurturing, send some soothing messages to our brain and our body that we're safe and that we can relax and that we can be grateful for what we have, what we've been graced with. Okay, so now that I'm hoping that's helpful, I'm hoping that you all are feeling, a little bit more connected. If you want to pop anything into the chat about how this is so far for you, or if anybody wants to share, what it's like to take a few moments to connect with your breath and your body, I always invite comments or conversation. So I'll hold some space for that for a moment. And if we're all good, we can move forward. Okay, so you're sleepy. That's good. This is relaxing. So all of this stuff is really a good thing to do whenever, when sleep might be eluding you. If you need to rest and you can't, your mind is racing at night. Taking some breaths, doing some self-massage, getting some lotion, and really massaging your hands and your feet can be a wonderful way to wind down and show yourself some love. I really like to do that, especially with something that smells really good. Getting into our senses like that, when we have that sensory bliss from something that smells really good or something that feels really good to touch, or the music that we love to listen to, or the looking at things that make us happy. All of that is connecting to our bodies, and all of that can help ground us and be a way of healing, gift to ourselves and to others. So at this point, I would like to lead you all in a guided gratitude meditation. And then I'm going to ask you to do some reflections after that. So that's where the pen and paper might come in, and hopefully we'll have some more sharing among the group. So if you want to make yourself very comfortable, all I'm asking you to do here is listen and connect with your breath. And of course, take care of yourself, whatever you need to do. So make yourself comfortable, either lying down or seated upright. And if you are lying down, notice the connection between the back of your body and the surface supporting you. Same with if you're seated. Notice where you're connecting to your seat. Lengthen up through your spine. Maybe create some space in your shoulders, broaden those collarbones. And for now, you can let your hands rest on your thighs. Palms can face up or down. Or really, you're flying the plane, so however you want to move your body is just fine. Once you've settled, I invite you to either close your eyes or soften your gaze and begin to tune into your breath. Notice your breath without trying to change it. Notice how you feel, accepting where you are, exactly how you are in this moment. At this time, you're invited to bring the awareness of gratitude and acceptance into this moment. Extend the welcome mat for gratitude. If it arrives, allow yourself to be surrounded, letting it flow like water all around you. Notice how it feels in your body, how your energy feels in this moment. If it doesn't come up, that's okay. There's no need to force anything. This invitation is to create some space, to open up to what lies within your heart and for which you are thankful. Bring your awareness to your breath. And as you inhale and exhale in your own time, notice sensations that come along with inviting air in through your nasal passages or your mouth, and follow your breath with awareness through your lungs and perhaps to your diaphragm. Notice the point where your inhale naturally leads into your exhale. Follow the sensations as you expand and contract with each natural inhalation and exhalation. Honor and give thanks to the fact that each of these breaths gives you life. Now invite your awareness to your heart. Notice and visualize your heart beating, pulsing, filling with love, compassion, and peace, and flowing that back out. Taking a moment to inhale, inviting in love, compassion, and peace, and then exhaling love, compassion, and peace into the world around you. Bring your awareness to your eyes that may see or can imagine images of color, faces, smiles, nature, the sunrise, the sunset, the rainbow, the moon and stars, or your beautiful self in the mirror. Bring your awareness to your ears that may beam in sound, music, laughter, the voices of those you love, silence, or the beautiful sounds of life. Bring your awareness to your nose that may smell the ocean breeze, the aroma of sweet perfume, flowers, the trees, newly cut grass, the wafting smells that come from the kitchen, cookies in the oven. Bring your awareness to your lips and mouth that tastes and savors and nourishes, kisses and speaks, that whispers and sings. Bring your awareness to your hands that hold and touch and caress and open and close and applaud and squeeze. The arms and shoulders that carry and hug and lift and stretch. Bring your awareness to your feet, your toes, the gift to wiggle them, transport you, walk, run, dangle, dance, kick, fold, leap, and point. Let us also hold space and honor your tears, your sorrows, your trials and tribulations, your anger, your grief, your disappointment, your resilience and perseverance. Honor the commitment and the strength that you seem to be able to muster to make it through each day. Bring your awareness to your abundance, your expansion, your evolution, your perspective shifts, the affluence and flow and empathy and love and light, and your ability to see growth and potential in every moment. Now just breathe and feel more grace and ease. And now experience the warmth, love, and compassion that gratitude brings into your heart. You may drift your awareness to nurturing relationships in your life, the new ones and the older ones. Material things that come to you unexpectedly, things that flow to you with great effort and commitment and hard work. Think of love in your life and your connection to those things that are sweet and loving and honorable and just feel right. When we no longer take life for granted, we become grateful for everything we have. Breathe and feel this flow for a few more long and deep breaths. And as you're ready, come on back to the room that you're in. You could wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe move your shoulders a little bit. Whatever you need to do to take care of your body, to come on back in. At this point, if you are so inclined, I wouldn't mind seeing some faces, but I definitely would love to hear and have some discussion. We are going to go through a few reflection activities, just so that we can have some practice with naming the things that we're grateful for. And so that's the thing that we'll start with. But before we go there, how's everybody doing? You can give a thumbs up or you could nod your head. I love it. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Beautiful faces. It's so nice to see you. All right. So what I would like for you to do, my invitation right now, is to, on your paper or, the notes on your phone, but actively, taking a moment to type or to write, I would like for you to identify up to 3 things that happened today that you are grateful for. And they can be anything, big or small, but something that you actually experienced or made happen or noticed that you're thankful for. And Quita, right now, I'm thankful to see that painting behind you. That looks like a beautiful start to something.
It's coming along.
Yeah.
You'll see soon.
Awesome. Okay. So I'll give you a moment to record up to 3 things that you're grateful for. And then what I would really love is for a few brave souls to name a thing or 2 that you're grateful for so that we can hear it. So you're not only writing it, but you're saying it out loud and sharing it. Or you can pop it in the chat if that works for you.
Can I share?
Yes, please.
So just one of them. So my auntie and my mom and my uncle were all in the hospital on the same day in the same hospital. And one of them had to have an emergency surgery. And so this morning when I woke up, I got a text message from all of them. I picked up my phone and I had a text message from all 3 of them. And I knew that they were alive, that they were safe. And I went to bed so worried. I was so stressed out that I could feel myself trembling, just shaking. And it was just very difficult for me to force myself to go to sleep because I was so worried. So I was so grateful that there was a sign that they were all living. And I don't have to think about that every day. Like every day, we don't have to physically think about whether the people we love are, some of us, are actually alive and breathing. So
Yeah.
That was a big deal for me today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that with us. So we have some points of gratitude popping into the chat. Seeing my husband at the end of my very long workday today with a smile on his face. Oh, yeah. Grateful for technology that allows me to see my infant grandbaby that lives 5 hours away. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Grateful for kind people at work.
Mhm.
Walking with my baby in the beautiful weather. Yeah. Oh, grateful to participate with all of you beautiful people in this process. Back at you. Yes. Oh, a packing of a lunch and making your coffee before leaving in the morning. That is a wonderful husband. That's awesome. And then waking up today and having beautiful weather and listening to birds singing. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing these. So this practice of naming 3 good things, you may be aware, but it can be revolutionary in its impact when it becomes a habit on decreasing feelings of stress, decreasing symptoms of depression, and increasing feelings of happiness. So there's some wonderful studies that have happened on gratitude, and with this practice in particular, it has been found to have some pretty big impacts. Having a gratitude practice also creates a new neural pathway in our brain so that we start to tune in more to the things that are going right in our day. And it helps us to work with the natural negativity bias, which is our brain's survival mechanism, that we are going to catalog the tough stuff that happens to us so that we can stay prepared and ready to recognize threats. So we can override that a little bit. We still want that mechanism, but we don't want it always keeping us on edge. We want to be able to recognize that we have the tools that we need to deal with the tough stuff in our lives. And we also have the capacity to appreciate, radically appreciate the good stuff, ourselves, one another, the things that the people around us do for us, and the joy that we can bring. So nice job, everybody. Okay, the next thing, and this might be a little more challenging, but I love this exercise, is write 5 compliments reflecting your efforts towards success. Compliment yourself. This is something that you have made happen. This is an activity that I have done pretty regularly since I was challenged. On 11/19/20, I brought my journal, y'all. I wrote for my compliments that I genuinely care for my students. I wrote, I help my children by making appointments for their health care. I wrote that I did a great job facilitating interviews this week with our search committee. So those are my compliments. So you can put whatever you did that was great, and you did some great things, whether or not it was today, in the last few days, in the last week or last month. What have you done that you would like to compliment yourself for? How have you shown up with greatness in your life to honor your effort towards success? And then my challenge is to share a compliment. And if anyone would like to speak it, we'd love to hear your voice. Or you could pop it in the chat.
Okay, I'll talk, even though that last relaxing activity put me in another place. So I try hard. Really, it's a challenge, but I do try my best.
Thank you. And we have someone sharing that they obtained their dream job and they're moving back to Minnesota. That's amazing.
I don't mind sharing.
Okay.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. Last month I stepped out on faith and I launched a ministry, and yeah, so I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
Thank you. Oh, that's amazing. Now, can I just ask you, like, what did it take for you to do that? What kind of values and qualities did you demonstrate in doing that?
Wow. Great faith, great perseverance, persistence, discipline. Yeah, sacrifice, all of those things. But it was definitely worth it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate that. That's I love that question, that next level, like what did it take for you to do that? Because what we don't often hear, whether it's from our own voices or from other people, is our greatness reflected and the values that we bring to our work, to our family life, to our community work. And if we are going to be transformative, in our own healing process, if we are going to evoke change in others, wouldn't it be amazing if we could be more juicy with our words, if we could be more appreciative, more radically appreciative of the greatness that we see in what it takes to start a ministry, and what it takes to obtain someone's dream job, and what it takes to sometimes get out of bed in the morning when life is just like smacking you down, So, there's other things coming up. Thank you, Nicole, for letting me dig deeper into that.
Oh, no problem.
Okay. And let's see, started a family outreach program at your school. That's fantastic. Imagine, all the qualities and values that takes, right? I think sometimes we're used to what has been referred to as like emotional junk food, right? Good job, high five, thumbs up, way to go. That's like somewhat we want to hear those things, but if we really get called out and somebody looks at us and tells us not just good job, but this is what I see you demonstrating, and this is how that is going to have an impact, and this is how I feel about you, seeing you light the way for others. I mean, we can be so much more appreciative of ourselves and others and really underpin these compliments so that we can be more emotionally nutritious for ourselves and for other people. I don't know anybody who wants to sign up for more criticism, judgment, name calling. I don't know anybody who wants that, but we're very used to that. We're conditioned for that, right? To be put down, to be shamed, to be pitted against one another, versus, the effort and the energy that it could, take to turn things around, to radically rebel against that with radical appreciation and love and worth and investing. Anyone else want to share? Something you did that was amazing? If not, I have one more task. Oh, somebody, okay, here we go. I'm a great mom, even though my teens don't always agree. Right, they're not always up for the validation. I find that very challenging myself as parenting a tween and a teen right now. And it takes a lot to own your greatness when it's not always reflected in the ones that, you love. So thank you for naming that. All right, so well, this is not the last thing. This is the second to last thing. Now the challenge, and we're creeping up here, is 10 qualities of greatness that you own. 10 qualities of greatness. And so that could be, I am like an amazing cook, or I am really good at helping people feel comfortable, or what is your quality of greatness? And see if you can come up with 10 of them. Maybe you're a peacemaker. Maybe you're a change maker. Maybe you're a good troublemaker.
Can we flood the chat with those?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Can we see if there are 26 of us? Can we see if we can get at least 50 of them in the chat?
Ooh, 50 qualities of greatness. Okay, I'm in.
Let's get 50 qualities of greatness or more. I think we got this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be shy. Flood the chat. And if you see something that someone else put down there, you can repeat it if you didn't think about that about yourself. Because sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need other people to speak so that we can understand our worth and value too. That's sometimes what friends are for.
Ooh, discernment. Yes, a great advocate, happy personality, compassionate with patience, listening, encouraging, adventurous, patient, a dreamer. I'm a connector. Yes, yes, you are, Tanya. Okay, funny. I'm persistent and can hold space for others. I love that. Quit is keeping things clean. Following through with commitments, motivated, welcoming. Oh, look at this. Good friend and caring. I can thrive independently. Yes, yes. Creative. Love that. Totally. Yes. Speaking life into students. Yes. What else? Ooh, an atmosphere changer. That's juicy. I love this. Yes. Okay, now we're really getting somewhere. Helping students work through tough feelings and moments. An advocate for children, asking for help. That is such a great strength. Absolutely. Yeah. That's okay. Sometimes. Ooh, look at all these. Oh, Nicole, you wrote, you're 10. Great wife, good mother, excellent friend, good listener. Oh, yes, perseverance. victorious, spontaneous, loyal, authentic, everything you were created to be, just like that oak tree. I love it. Wow. Now, you know what? This doesn't seem to be that hard. I mean, maybe it was hard at first, but now they're kind of flowing. Do you think we got 50? Did you count? Are we counting? That's a
But not
lot.
enough. I don't see enough. I don't know. I'm
You don't see
feeling
enough. We got it.
No, I think we did a wonderful job, but you know, that's me.
I grow healthy plants, so I'm going to write that one.
I'm a pusher. I motivate and inspire. Greatness. I'm so happy that everyone logged in today to do this, because I'm sure that everyone had a really, really long day, and 6:40 feels like midnight sometimes, because it's like dinner time and it's an interesting time of the day. So I am so grateful for all of you. And I hope you were able to be relaxed. And I also hope that this is empowering. Like, I hope that at least one thing that you wrote down in the top 10, that it helps you feel better about yourself today, and that you can carry that energy to tomorrow and for the next day. And if we're feeling down, like, maybe we can do this, maybe we can think about a quality or something, you know, because there have been a lot of people throwing out zingers this week for me. Like, every time I turn around, I feel like something's coming. So something like this, being able to put a smile on my own face, because sometimes we can't depend on other people to do it. Sometimes we have to figure out how to do it ourselves. And some of us know how to do that and some of us don't. So whether it is, you know, massaging our, you know, cheeks, or doing that no thing, or breathing, or being positive to ourselves when other people don't want to be. I think there's so many things that Wendy showed us so far about filling our cups. And I think you all are so deserving of having your cups filled, so deserving of everything that she's introduced for us today. And even if we already knew these things, just the opportunity to be willing to be here with Wendy, I think is even empowering for her. So I'm just grateful to you all for being participants, and for being amazing, and for just being all of those things that you have in the chat. And I'll be your friend. I'll be your friend if you have all of those qualities. I want to share in that. I want to be a part of that. So.
And you need to give Tanya your next painting. Right.
She did that in the chat.
And then I'd like to be after that.
You see it, Tanya? Do you see what's happening back there?
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, everything that you just said and then some. We are taking the time tonight to invest in ourselves and in our worth. And yes, we might know these practices. We might have a lot of good knowledge. I think a lot of us have, you know, have acquired some wonderful knowledge and life experience. And yet at this point in time, it is hard to apply it. There's a lot of burnout right now. People have been fighting for a long time, and we still run into the same roadblocks and the same challenges. And then we're trying to live in a pandemic, and there's, you know, uncertainty about our health and our safety, and our nervous systems, you know, are overwhelmed. So coming back to ourselves, recognizing our natural intelligence, recognizing that, you know, these practices are accessible to us, that we can connect to our bodies, that we can, through constructing and remembering our worth, that we will construct worthy community in a more impactful way. And that is how we can continue to make a difference. And again, just being able to start this amazing journey, you know, through trauma-informed workshops, and being a part of your evening, and being able to share some wisdom and hear your wisdom is filling my cup too. So I greatly appreciate this. The last thing that I'd really love to encourage everyone to do is to just sort of tap into your strongest values. What is so important to you? And thank you for joining us, April. I see that you have to log out. Take good care. So we talked about our greatness, but what is so incredibly important to you? So even one thing, your value, because one of the things that protects us in times of burnout is reconnecting to our purpose. And if we're feeling, like people are feeling in education and healthcare and families and service work in every walk of life, like we are overwhelmed and not always holding on to our hope, how do we remember our purpose? So what's that strongest value of yours? Endurance to keep moving. Oh, do you have endurance? That is the truth. Kindness. Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. Being for someone what I needed as a young woman growing up. That gives me chills. The ability to learn and unlearn. Yes, yes, yes. Respect, communication, kindness. Valuing authenticity in my actions and connections with others. Personal growth. So inspiring. Well, I invite you all to carry these practices forward if you feel called to continue doing the things that you already do to fill your cup that maybe we did not talk about today. And if there's anyone who wants to share something that they do, that they love, that they feel might, someone else here might need to hear, feel free to do that too. Bye, Mary. Thank you for joining us. Oh, you're muted,
I
Quita.
think everybody put their contact information and everything into the chat. I'm going to email you all the flyer information for the rest of the diversity and equity conference series now. Okay. I'm going to do that now. I have all of your emails. documented. If you didn't get your email down there and you want that information, can you private chat me so that I can add your email to the list here that I'm going to send out. And I hope that you all are able to make it to the panel discussion on Monday or the panel discussion on Tuesday. And there's also a big training, an amazing training, oh my goodness, on next Thursday. You can't miss that. Don't miss it. Each of them will be recorded too. So you shouldn't, most of you know how to reach out to me. I'll put my cell phone number in the chat. If you need to contact me, text me or whatever, if you need me for anything, just let me know. When did you want to do anything for us to wrap up, or
I think that, I just, again, want to kind of reflect that I'm so grateful, to spend this time with you all and to, be a part of this series. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your courage to share, to step into your greatness tonight, maybe a little bit more dynamically, even if it pushed you past your comfort zone. I do feel inspired, and I wish everyone a relaxing evening. Maybe we'll all get some pretty good sleep tonight. And, if you're feeling like you're lying there awake, dip into your body, take some of those nice deep breaths, give yourself that nice massage. And thank you. Thank you, everyone, for showing up in all your glory. And that's it for me. I think, ending a few minutes early can be a gift. It is like, it's time, right? Oh, good. Brand new mom. And it was good to take time for yourself. Oh, wonderful. Yay. Congratulations. Ooh. Nicole, I thought there was something I recognized about you.
I wasn't sure. I was like, as soon as I saw you, I was like, oh my gosh, I know who that is. I didn't know it was you though when I logged on, when I was logged
Well,
in.
now that you've made the connection, yes. Oh my gosh.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm
Good.
I'm feeling better tonight than I did when I started. So.
Good.
How about you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
And I have to say, I know folks are probably wondering, what are they talking about? But this, when I woke up this morning, self-care was really in my spirit. So I woke up first thing this morning and I had a nice relaxing bubble bath and detox bath. And then I got an email from one of my teachers at Blue Ridge about this. And I was like, oh, sure. It seems interesting. I'll log on. And so this was kind of like the best way to end the day as I began it with a nice relaxing self-care day. So
awesome. That's such a good thing that you said that, because now it feels like, oh, maybe a bubble bath is in my evening. It's been suggested. See how we can influence each other, and
yes.
Oh.
I love my bubble.